Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 11 of our Salesforce Academy. Today, we're going to continue with our sales and marketing applications. We started this yesterday, and we're going to continue today. Okay, so again, we are in the series of Beyond Administrative Tasks. This is when you know how to use Salesforce and you're going beyond what Salesforce, not really beyond what Salesforce can, what admin can do, but more than just creating objects and creating fields. That's what the Beyond Administrative Tasks is all about. So now, to get started, I will go into the Trailhead and I will log in. If you notice something, it automatically logs me in right now because my session was still on. Okay, so for those that didn't get my email, there is a deadline. If you're under the professional path, you need to have 10,000 points by next week, the 21st of February. It is a requirement for your work experience. If you do not have it, you might not be able to do the work experience. Okay, last cohort, some people were eliminated from the process because they couldn't achieve the certain deadline for their project, individual project, group projects, and the like. So please take whatever I say seriously, because when the time comes, I wouldn't smile or take any excuses. Having said that, let's go into our hands-on orgs and launch our Salesforce org. So today we are going to continue with the sales and marketing applications, okay? And again, to make things easier, you can just switch to the sales app. You know, when you're working on service application, we're using the service app. When we're working on the sales app, we're going to be using the sales app. Okay. Again, what are the sales app in Salesforce? There are so much. When I say sales applications, like sales objects, there are a lot in Salesforce, but we are going to just streamline them into few ones that we can cover during this training. For instance, yesterday I said opportunity is a sales app, is a sales object. Contacts, leads, accounts, they are all sales objects because they are used for customers and they are used to make sales. How do you get to know who your customers are? They are in your accounts and contacts. So they are somewhat related to the sales and marketing applications. In addition to that, we have orders, we have codes, we have products, we have a lot. Okay, so let's get started. The first one, which obviously the next one, we did leads and campaign yesterday. So the next one is opportunities. What are opportunities? Opportunities are another object that is used to track or is used to communicate the process of a deal. Okay, that sounds a bit confusing, but let me make it simple. If you want to sell anything to a customer, Salesforce provides you with an object called opportunities that helps you track the sales process. So opportunity helps you track the sales process. And what is the sales process? The sales process are just definition of custom sales of stages. So you have this. This is a sales process for this dummy component, out of the box component, right? This is what Salesforce referred to as the sales process, meaning that you have a prospecting, you have a qualification, you have needs analysis, you have value proposition, you have all the stages before you close a deal. And when you close a sales process, you either close to win or close to lose, okay? Close won or close lost. So remember, whenever you are in a sales process and the last stage is closed, it has to be either close won or close lost, okay? It's a common sense thing, but then again, you have to specifically state that. This will come up in maybe your certification exam, but more importantly, your project. When you have to upload data, you need to specify whether the stage is closed open or closed lost, okay? And in addition to that, you would see that the opportunity has a lot of fields, just like we have in other objects. But the most important thing about opportunity is some fields are interlinked. They are dependent on another field. For instance, expected revenue. The expected revenue of a sale is dependent on the stage and the probability. So if I change the stage to qualification, you might not see much changes. But if I move the stage to decision makers, the probability would change and the expected revenue would change. So as you can see, they are interlinked, okay? And this is what helps you to do a lot of things with a sale, expected sale. For instance, if you're doing forecasting, you can tell how much revenue you're going to make in the next quarter based on all this information, okay? We're going to learn a lot regarding this, but let's take it step by step. How do you create a new stage? How do you add new stage? Expectations are you should know how to do this. But then again, to add a new stage, you go to the objects. You go to the setup and you go to the objects manager and you go to opportunity. Okay, now that we are in opportunity, you go to the stage and you go to stage. One thing you can observe with stage pick list is that it has a type, it has a probability, and it has forecast category. Okay, so the type is open or close won or close loss. That's the last stage, right? Close won or close loss. So if it's not close won or close loss, then it's always open. So you need to know the stage you are selecting. This determines a lot of things. So you need to be very sure that you know the type. Number two, you know the probability to that type. So if you want to make changes to the sales process, you would put that into consideration. What do I mean by that? You cannot move a stage, you cannot move a stage here and say the probability has reduced. Okay? The probability needs to increase or needs to be increasing the moment you're moving the stage of the sales forward. So if you are the early stage, obviously it's logical to have 10% here. If you're at this stage, it is logical to have 90%. Think about it from a business point of view. You're almost there. You want to close a deal. And now it's saying 10%. So when you are building your stages, you need to logically build and order your stages. Okay. So let's say we want to enter a new pick list value. And I want to put it in between this price proposal and this. I'll just say awaiting signature. Like everything is done. I just want to get the signature. Awaiting signature, okay? Awaiting signature, and the probability is 99. Okay, it's still open because without the signature, we cannot close the deal. And the pipeline, you have the forecast category. This is used for your forecasting. When we get to forecasting tonight, you will see how this comes into play. But you want to put it in the pipeline because like that's where it is right now. Commit is okay. The client has committed. Actually, you can put it in commits because commits at 99%, you should be committed. But then again, you can put it in a pipeline if you want, depending on what your business has categorized awaiting signature to be. Okay, so now I save and I cannot put awaiting signature after close won or close loss. Okay, so I need to reorder. Then I move awaiting signature up. Okay, so now that's the way you do the sales. You should do the sales process. Then you refresh this page. Then you see awaiting signature. Okay, awaiting signature becomes an option in the sales part. Okay, then you should be able to select awaiting signature somewhere. This is okay. Awaiting signature is now here. Okay, so that's how to use a stage, the probability to determine the expected revenue. Okay, so now that we know that, let's now go to the fundamental of sales. The same way we have support process, remember? Support process for cases. lead process for the marketing, sales processes for the sales. The same way we have to create a record type and we have to create the processes depending. For instance, let's say you will have noticed something recently with Blackforce. After the open day, we showed you how to register to be a member, right? And we can call that process the internal process, the official way of registering students to become member of Blackforce. Okay, now I'm just creating this up. It has nothing to do with, it's just a business case, right? So I can say if someone is coming in from the internal sales process, I don't want to talk about decision makers. I don't want to talk about value proposition because they already know, they already attended the open day. They already know about Blackforce. I don't want to talk about needs analysis because no, I have to talk about needs analysis. So something like that, just make it more interesting and take all this in and out and save. This is the internal sales process of Blackforce. However, let's say due to confusion or due to inability of members to understand how the sales process works for Blackforce. They don't know how. They don't know how to log in into single login to go to the subscription page and subscribe. Blackforce created a new sales process called the athletes. So I'll refer this to as the external sales process. As you can see, these stuff were dynamically generated. They were based on business needs. We don't want to interrupt the original sales process, which is fine, but we need to create another sales process that will address those that are having technology challenges, those that are having issues with their technology. So for this one, I don't need needs analysis because I expect you to know what you're paying for. I don't need to do prospecting because for you to get there, you know where and how to get there. Because you're not attending the open day, you're going behind the scene to go pay. So you have different process in place, right? And perception analysis, maybe I don't want that for the external process. This sometimes could be an ad hoc situation. By ad hoc situation, I mean, maybe your business already have internal sales process and external sales process. Then something comes in, a new product line. How would you sell a new product line that has no relationship regarding this original sales process you've built? Then you have to create a new sales process that would address that product line. Okay, so now that we know we've created a process, let's create opportunity record type to associate the process with. Again, we've done this. This is very straightforward. This is very easy. But then again, it's just for demo's sake. We are creating the internal record type that will be associated with the internal sales process. What does that mean? It means that anytime someone is paying through the internal sales process, they will see the internal flow. They will see the internal flow, how they can make sales using the internal flow. Then the other one would be the external sales process. And the same way you're creating record types for the internal, you can create a record type for the external. And once you have the record type for the external, you select the external sales process. Okay? And you make it available to the admin as well. So now you have these two processes, and you can now make a sale depending on where the user is coming from, okay? But then again, most people that will be using your Salesforce are internal users. For instance, unless you have a developer that is creating a community cloud that enables you to enter data from a website, chances are you might not be able to enter data into the opportunities. The only way you can do that is web to case, web to lead, but you need to know how to develop flow that would get data into opportunities, because the only way you can out of the box is by using the lead or the case, just like we demonstrated the last time. However, if you have a community website, you should be able to enter data into any object. Okay, so now that we have the opportunity, we can now determine our sales process. The internal one would go via the login, the register, and they are done. The external one, maybe they don't need to have a login and they just fill this. They have different paths to closing the deal. Okay, so the whole idea of the process for according to Salesforce is just to provide you what can be done out of the box. However, we have what they call paths. So if by default, your object does not have what you refer as these paths, you can create your own. That's what Salesforce is telling you. If the opportunities, maybe you're creating a different object and you want to have this stuff, then you can create your own paths and you can bring that path into the page layout. I think like something we did for students in our last listing, right? This is what we did for students. It's a custom path. Okay, so remember processes in Salesforce. There are 3 processes. The lead is marketing, the sales is for opportunity, and the support is for cases. In support, the status of the case is used as the determinant of the path. In lead, the status of the lead is used as the determinant of the path. In opportunities, the stage, remember, the stage is used as what determines this path. Let me go back to leads to just verify something. The leads, the lead status is what determines the path, okay? Just to make sure. The sales is the stage of the opportunity that determines the path. So now that we have an idea of what the sales process is and the path, let's carry on into more things about sales, about opportunities. When you create an opportunity, you are literally creating a potential item to be sold. But you need to still have that item. For instance, I want to sell a product and I created an opportunity for that sale, right? But I still need to have the product I'm selling. So if you go to opportunities on the right-hand side or on the related tab, we have what they call products. So you have to associate a sale process, an opportunity to a product. There is no way, it doesn't make sense to say the expected revenue is this, the stage is this. What are you selling? You're selling a product. So you need to add a product to whatever opportunities you've created. Okay, so now that you've added dummy products, you click on save, then you put quantity. Okay, and you put a date. But all this doesn't matter anyway. It's just you trying to, fill the most important thing is the asterisk one that says red, okay? Then you save. So now you've added a product to the opportunity. And what can you observe? When you added a product to the opportunity, you have this value, meaning that you have, let me see, 5,000, 100, 150, 35. I think you just 1 minute. When you're creating order, automatically the sales price comes up. So you can set the expected revenue when you're creating the opportunity, but when you're creating the order for that product, then you can have a summation of the value in the product. We're going to get that shortly, okay? But while we're creating the opportunities, we've seen that we can determine the sales process for that opportunity, okay? Number 2, we've seen that the probability and the stage of the sales of this opportunity determines the expected revenue. And if you change the expected revenue to 90%, you will see that it is giving you 283,500. And if you look at the products, add all this together. 100 plus 150 is 250. Then 35 is 285 or something. Then you kind of like get the summation of all these products. you get it within the amount. Sorry, this is the amount. This is expected revenue, and this is the amount, okay? So the summation of all this should be this. The expected revenue is changing based on this. And once you make a proper order on this product, you will be able to get the order in the order object, which we're going to touch shortly. But I just want you to know the dynamics of things. The product you're adding here would determine the overall price, and the overall price will be changing based on the details you're putting in this, okay? Quantity, depending on the product, if you add more products, if you add another 6, okay? Then you go back to that opportunity. You refresh just for it to kick in. Okay, you've seen previously it was 5, I added 6, now it's 11. Okay, can you see how the opportunity is dynamic based on what is happening in the product? So the opportunity needs to be the opportunity needs to be associated to the product. Okay, that's what you're truly selling. Opportunity is just the pipeline you're building to make sure it happens. Okay, so now that we know that, what else do we need to know when it comes to the sales process? We need to know what they call forecasting. I told you earlier that when you are working on the stages of opportunity, there's what they call forecast category, okay? There's what they call the forecast category. And the forecast category would determine, okay? It will determine the stage where, or it will determine the overall performance of your maybe quarterly or yearly or expected revenue in the next 3 months or so. So if you want to find out where you are, you can do forecast. So Salesforce provide you forecast out of the box, okay? Salesforce provides you forecast out of the box. And for you to have forecast, you need to enable forecast. You need to enable forecast. So how do you enable forecast? You go to the setup and you enable the forecast. Once you enable forecast, you will be able to see the forecast in the front end, okay? So now we've enabled forecast, but before we go into details of the forecast, let's refresh this page and see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, we now have forecast enabled in the system. And again, the forecast is just telling you what's going to happen in the next quarter, what's going to happen in the next, like you can add more item, you can change the range if you want to, but you can also add more items. I want to see if I can add set forecast range. I want to include it to December, okay? So I want to see what would happen from now to December. I can see on a monthly basis. It appears nothing is happening, but obviously that's depending on the data you have. But you can see the total focus as well. Right now, we just have 2 deals, right? But if you create more opportunities, you can create more focus, okay? So always use future dates. 14 is ideal, and put some probability there, okay? Save. Then if you go back to focus, you will see how much you're likely to make, okay? Just refresh this. Let's see what, you see the July, this is the July forecast, right? So it's gonna be giving you the best, as I told you, right? The commits, the best case, the close, all the stuffs are based on what you have selected when creating the stage type. So if you're really a marketing person, if you're really a sales person, you will know what to select. And based on the selection, you will know how much you're likely to make. What is in the pipeline? What is the best case? What is the commit? What is the close? So all this stuff is just forecasting. So the focus is associated to the opportunity. And when you look at opportunity, there is more to it than just what we're talking about here. For instance, some people go as far as doing opportunity scoring. What opportunity scoring? Lead scoring. You want to find out based on the information on the account owner, you want to score them. You want to say, if the annual revenue of these accounts, Burlington Textile is 1 million and above, then I want to do a scoring for that account. So I can now use the scoring or the probability of this account closing the opportunity I created for them. So now, as you can see, it is beyond administrative stuff. This is not the work of a system admin. The work of a system admin is to create these parts. The work of a system admin is to create these fields. But if you are a user of Salesforce, if you know what is going on, you can now say, okay, I want the admin to create a field called account scoring. Then using that field, I can create what I refer to as a list view that would filter all accounts, all opportunities based on the scoring of the account. So I can predict if I can sell this deal or not. In addition to that, there is what they call the Kanban view. The Kanban view with opportunities tells you how your opportunities are growing. For instance, I can visualize all my opportunities in the system. I can tell which of my opportunity is currently in prospecting. I can tell which of them is in decision-making stage, and I can tell which of them is in negotiation stage. The Kanban view just gives me a visual representation, okay? Gives me a visual representation, and I can do the settings. I can say I don't want the amount, I want the expected revenue, save, and the whole thing will change. I can even go further and say, I don't want to have the stage, I want to group by type, and you save. Then it's going to give you based on type of the customer. So as you can see, Salesforce gives you things that will make it easier for you to make a sale. That's why it's called the sales pipeline, the sales process, and it is under opportunities, okay? So now that you've seen that you can actually use Kanban to view your opportunities, there's also what they call the split view. So if you are working in a very dynamic environment whereby you have a lot of sales process in place, you have a lot of deals coming up, then you can change the view to like a split view. But ideally, if you want to use this view, my recommendation would be to use a sales console. The Sales Console app, let me look for the Sales Console app. It's similar to the split view, okay? The Sales Console app is similar to the split view. The only difference is that it gives you a robust view whereby you can streamline the objects. And once you streamline the object into one drop down, you can now click on one, then you can see a lot about that opportunity in one view instead of having to open one after the other. Okay, so that's the benefit of the sales control. I say sales control, sales console. Sales console gives you an overall, like a comprehensive view of the sales without having to close one after the other. You can see as you can open like 10 sales. You can open 10 sales instead of you changing to the other sales view that lets you open one at a time. So if you're working in a very busy environment, the best thing to use is the sales console, okay? No, let's go back to the table list and let's go back to opportunities again. As you can see, the fields you have here can be very dynamic, okay? Now, let's go to the home page, just to show you another thing. This quarterly performance you see here is based on opportunities. By default, you would have this chart in all your Salesforce app org, but you can take it off if you don't want to see it, okay? But remember, this is driven by the opportunity. As you can see, close, open, and the likes. In addition to that, there is assistance. The assistant helps you to determine what's going on within the org. 30 days without any activity, 30 days without this. Something like that can help you determine whether a case will be, a sale will be closed or not. In addition to that, you can do all other items on the assistant, but remember, assistant is used mostly for productivity on the sales and marketing application. Now, if you understand the forecast, which is this, you will see that the forecast helps you to predict the likelihood of you selling stuff, and it gives you a visual representation of how your deals are broken down. But there is more to this forecast. So let's go back to the back end and let's talk more about the forecast. The forecast has settings which we enabled the last time, and we have what they call the forecast type. What are the forecast type? Forecast type are just the type of forecast you like to create. Okay, you like to create a different type of forecast. Salesforce will walk you through a process. I'm creating a forecast for my opportunity. Then I want to measure what? What do I want to measure? The quantity or the amount? Remember, when we had forecast, we have all this, but you could also measure quantity. Instead of putting them in dollar, you can just put them in 1, 3, 5, blah, 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 right? So you can determine what you want to measure. You go to next, then you talk about the close date. The date type determines what date fields are used in your forecast calculations. So forecast calculation meaning that when do you want to close this deal? What date do you want to use to close this deal? As you can see, the close date for this is this, but obviously this is wrong, but then this is what is used for the close date, okay? Then you can select the user, okay? Use selection for the group forecast and everything, but what that means is this. If you go to forecast, you can see that Babatope Olajide is the one viewing this forecast. This forecast belongs to Babatope Olajide. So if you have like 10 people working in the sales department, then you can now switch to different user, okay? You can switch to different user. And again, you can determine those users based on their role, okay? That's what it means. Then you determine the field. Since you have a record type, it's going to be asking you for all this. But if you don't have record type, you would not get this, okay? Then it's going to ask you the forecast name. What forecast name are you creating? For instance, if you create another forecast, you will get the type of forecast you're interested in, okay? Then you go to, let's just say, I'll just put some sample there. Forecast would be year goal, you know? Then you have all this, you can edit them if you want and everything, but I'm just gonna save, okay? So now you have the fields that you want to display. For instance, all this stuff, you want to display them, right? This is what it's asking you. Then you click on next, and that's it. You've created a forecast type. Remember, you can create up to 4 forecast type, okay? Then you go to adjustment, enable adjustment. What's adjustment? Adjustment is just basic stuff you want to do. Like if you have a forecast right now, but you want the manager to influence the forecast, okay? You want the manager to influence the forecast, then you can say manager can adjust the forecast, owner can adjust the forecast, and the likes, okay? Then you have what they call the manage forecast rollup, and you can make changes based on whatever you feel. You can make changes, but more importantly, you can show quotas as well, okay? You can show quotas if you want. So all these stuff are just settings, and depending on what you want, you can. However, remember, some settings in Salesforce are irreversible, meaning that once you make them, you might not be able to reverse them to the default state, okay? So always remember that before you make any forecast changes. So now that we have an idea of what the forecast is and what it's using or what it is doing in Salesforce, I would like to take a pause here to find out if you guys get what I've been teaching and if you have any questions. Remember, the opportunity is used for the sales process. And the sales process, you can determine the expected revenue based on the stage and the probability. And you can change all this in the back end. In addition to that, your opportunities needs to be added to the product. The value on the product will determine what you have in your revenue. In addition to that, the quantity in the product will determine what you have in your quantity. And these stuff are dynamic, okay? They are dynamic and it changes based on the amount you have here, okay? So I'm gonna take a pause and I'm gonna ask you guys if you have any questions before we go further into the lesson. Okay, raise your hand up and I will call you according to how you raise your hand up. So unmute yourself, Tenny, and speak, please. Engator, you're speaking, I cannot hear you.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Well, I have two questions, right? I know you really explained, but let me just, because I'm trying to relate it to actual life experience. The first question is, if we have the opportunity part from 10% to 100%, and we have close won and close loss at the end, how does that work in reality? Because if I am certain that I'm at the awaiting signature stage at 99, so how come there are still chances that the deal will not steal through and I'll see arrive at 0? So I'm asking now, because if I think about it, at let's say the midway, which could be the decision stage, why don't we have another part? So because at that time you should know whether you should pass through or not. That's one. That's one thing I don't really understand. Then the second one is, you said the stage is tied to the probability of success, right? So if we also include the quantity of the products which have prices from them, and there's an estimate, let's say I have 10 products added at $5. That means at the end of the day, I'm expecting $50. So how come the quantity of the products is not directly reflecting the expected income, but instead the stage and the probability increases the expected revenue? So I know you said there's a relationship there, but can you just explain a little bit of the relationship?
Okay. Okay, I'll try to summarize your question because it's a bit confusing. I did not quite get that, but let me explain again. When you're creating opportunity, this is configurable, meaning that if your stage is a need analysis, you determine what the probability is from the back end. So it has nothing to do with Salesforce. It has nothing to do with me. It is according to the business request. Business analyst says, when the stage is a need analysis, the probability should be 20%. That's it. It's not your call as a system admin. It's not my call. I am just teaching you what is possible with Salesforce. So it's now the responsibility of the business to determine what constitutes you probability of 99%. Yeah, if it's still going to go to 0, fine. That's not a big deal. By the end of the day, Salesforce is giving you a tool out of the box that would help you forecast sales. that will help you streamline your sales process, that will help you make sales. It's just a tool, it's a software. Don't be so rigid on Salesforce. Salesforce is just here to help you with a CRM product that would help your business grow. So if you determine that when it's at awaiting signature and there's a probability of it going back to zero, fine. Things happen in life. But that's not your job as a system admin. Your job as a system admin is to know where you can change this probability from 0 to 99 and from 99 to 50%. That's your job. Number two, you said something about the products and the expected revenue. I'm trying to get that question, but I don't quite get it. So let me just go to this again and show you what happens. So right now, we have an amount of 915. Expected revenue is 823, which is 90% of this. So if you look at your computer and you type in 0.9 times this is what you will get. Okay, so the expected revenue has nothing to do with quantity. Quantity is the number of products you have entered in the system. Okay, quantity has to do with the number of products you have entered in the system. Okay, you have 6 products, but you have 11 quantity, right? Because this is 6 of these products. That's what quantity is all about. So please don't mistake quantity, amount, and expected revenue, and don't mistake what configuration is and what reality is. Reality is what the business specifies. This is what the business says we want to do with our business process, our sales process. That's reality. Configuration is, what do you want to do as a Salesforce admin? Can you do it? Because your job is not a BA job. Your job is not a PM job. Your job is a Salesforce admin job. So they will tell you what to do, and you have to go do them. Okay? I hope that helps you. KVZ, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Yeah, Mr. Babajide, thank you for this evening. It's me, Ken Francis. I'm using work laptop or work system. So, Babajide, for me, it's kind of been a request, not a question, because after you launched today's program, and I was following till you left the stage aspect. When you went to forecast, I lost it all. I don't know if there is a way maybe to do what you did last week after teaching this particular topic. If there is a way you can make a day or two to kind of revise what you taught yesterday and today. Because I'm the type of person that likes to learn from the teacher, not going back every time to read. Because I'm lost. I believe from questions a lot of people are asking on the group, I believe most people are lost.
I don't think most people are lost.
Okay.
I don't think
for myself.
People are lost. If we have to be doing revision all the time, we might not finish the Salesforce admin. This is very basic. This is the easiest of all the Salesforce thing you'll be doing. And I'm pretty sure that I was very explanatory yesterday. And I even asked you to ask questions yesterday. So
not from yesterday, I'm talking about today. When you went to forecast, I lost it all.
Okay, then I can come back and explain the forecast to you. I can explain that forecast to you right now. Why do I have to create a revision class to explain what I can explain to you right now?
Okay.
You get why? Okay, so let me explain forecast to you again. When okay, no worries, Ken Francis. In setup, you go to setup. By default, you don't have forecast enabled in the system. Because remember when we tried to do forecast, we couldn't see forecast. So what exactly is forecast? What is forecasting? Let's, like when you to turn on forecast, you need to contact Salesforce support. Like I told you, when you enable certain things in Salesforce, you cannot disable them again. One example is forecast, okay? By default, you don't have it. But now, once you turn it on, you will be able to see the forecast. So what are forecasts in Salesforce? What are forecasts? Why do you use forecasts? Forecasts are a way of estimating revenue for products and services. in the future based on the opportunities and their stages and the values of that stages. That's the English definition. Forecast is a way of estimating revenue. I want to determine how much my business will make in the next 3 months. That's forecasting. Now, what are the elements that constitute to forecasting? The opportunity, the products, the services you're selling, the expected revenue, the amounts, the quantity. Okay? So now you need to understand that the forecasting is just out of the box tool. However, you can enable certain things in forecasting. Salesforce gives you a revenue forecasting, but you can change it to quantity forecasting by creating what they call a forecast type. Right now, can you see we have this?
Okay.
But we created another forecast type called year goal. And year goal does not use money. It uses quantity. That is forecasting. Forecasting is just predicting what would happen in the next 3 months or 6 months. And Salesforce gives you based on the information you've given them. You've given them that you have this probability of 90%. And the value is, the stage is value proposition.
Okay.
If you go back to your opportunity objects, how do you know the forecasting? It is based on the stage. The stage determines the forecast category. So you've said, oh, this is pipeline, but if you want to change it and you want to put the forecast category to something else, you can. So the pipeline is there, best case is there, commit is there. And if you go to forecast, you will see it here. If you go back to the forecast we had before, opportunity revenue, you have the pipeline, you have the commit, you have the best case, and the stuff like that. So please try to understand that this stuff you need to go on the org and experiment it yourself. I'm only here to give you, answer your questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So please don't get confused. Don't get overwhelmed. It is very easy. Once you watch the video, it becomes easier again. Okay. So please don't get overwhelmed. We cannot be doing revision all the time. We have clinics, we have tutorials, we have mentors. They are there to help you. If you have to do revision all the time, oh God, we're not going to finish this course. Okay? So please add that at the back of your mind. Okay?
Thank you.
No worries. Babs Ken, please.
Yeah, hello. Yes, thanks again, boss. My question has to do with putting myself, for example, as a role of a consultant now, right? I assume from what we've done today and what I'm saying, I can change the opportunity part. If you don't mind going back to that opportunity part, the pipeline.
Yes.
Yes, so we can move these things around, right, for the admins and for those who are going to work on, or maybe use it as an everyday thing. So say a company comes to us, and this default option that is created by Salesforce for us out of the box, we should be able to go ahead and say, okay, what is your sales process like? That's probably one of the questions that we want to ask, right? And if they tell us what the sales process is, we now map it to what we have here. And if it doesn't, this is just my thought process. You tell me if you need that's directionally okay, or there's a different way to go about it.
Yes, you're right. That's how it's going to work. Look at, if you want to sell something and if you don't show or demonstrate what that stuff can do, no one is going to buy it. And that's what Salesforce is doing. Salesforce gives you out of the box applications, but as a consultant, you should be able to develop or create another app that might not even be related to all this stuff. You can create out of the box, or you can use existing objects. The reason why these objects are there is because they have other hidden functionalities. As you saw yesterday, we have case assignment through, we have auto response. Those are the functionalities associated to the standard objects. But if you create your own custom object, you might have to be developing those features by yourself, which takes longer time. So please understand, you can change all those parts. You can change them if you don't want it, take them off. It could just be prospecting, qualification, close. That's it.
That's it.
So depending on the business needs, then they can determine what they want in their sales packs. Okay?
Yes. So the further question there is now regarding data, the accuracy of the forecasting, right? Is the data, does it self-correct itself? Or meaning, if I want to, first of all, am I able to go back to say, okay, here's our forecast, here is the actual, right? And look at the delta, right? And obviously, that's one of those things that I think the business will be interested in. I don't know if it's beyond the purview of what we're discussing in class, but would that be something that I have to be cognizant of as we kind of build this, let's say for the business?
Yes. So one thing you have in Salesforce is what they call validation rule. They call check. They call automation. They call so many things behind it. Once we get to that stage, I will teach you what it is. So what it means is that I can stop people from going back. I can stop people from going back. For instance, if you say decision makers have made decision, why would you want to go back to decision makers, or why would you want to go to quantification when decision makers have made decision? So you can create a validation rule that will check whether you're going back or you're going forward. Salesforce can do that for you. You can even check automation rule. You can be logging stages. You can be logging the stages. And if you say, if this has gone forward, you shouldn't be able to go back. Do you get what I mean? So
yes, I do. I do.
With Salesforce, okay?
Yep, I do. Awesome.
Okay, no worries.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Tony, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Hi. Good evening. My question, I don't know if it's really relevant to what you've just said, but then it goes thus. I want to be able to. First thing, for the opportunities and the products, can I do a forecast for each of those products, or is just relevant to opportunity, the main opportunity like Burlington, Texas, that's the main opportunity, or for each of the product that's under it?
You're doing forecast for all the products, but you can select based on months. Okay, but you're doing for all the products.
Okay.
All the opportunities, okay? And you can select the range. You can determine whether you want to include everything for the next quarter. You can determine the beginning period. You can determine the end period, okay?
Okay. Yeah. My other one is, I want to be able to, I think it's relevant to what I do. It's, I want to be able to create a report that will be able to, that will give me the forecast versus my expected revenue to my stakeholders. How do I do that? How do I do that?
Okay, so if you want to do a report, we have a session on report and dashboard, which we're going to be doing next week. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching report and dashboard next week, but please let's get there and you'll be able to do reporting. Okay?
I don't know. Okay, so yeah. That's all for my hand.
Okay. No problem. Thanks. So let's continue. Again, please, I want you guys to understand that Salesforce admin is different from Salesforce consulting. The consulting aspect is when you start getting your projects. That's when you start thinking. But Salesforce admin that I'm teaching you right now is for you to know where these objects are, know what they do. So when it comes to consulting, you're going to be thinking alongside your group mates. And you tell them that this is what we should do, this is what we should do, this is how we should do it. But if you don't know what objects are there in Salesforce, how would you open up your brain to think about what you can do with those objects? So I want you to understand the difference between Salesforce admin and Salesforce consulting. No one can really teach you consulting. You have to have the work experience to become a Salesforce consultant. I can teach you Service Cloud and Sales Cloud, but you need that work experience to give you a better understanding. That's why if you're on a professional path today, you're on the right track to becoming a Salesforce professional. But you need to know what I'm teaching you. You don't need to be a master of what I'm teaching you, because chances are you will never use this after this class. I can 100% guarantee you. But if I don't teach you, I will not be doing justice for the training. I need to teach you what is there, what is out there. However, when you get your first job, it could just be a report and dashboard you'll be doing for the next 3 months or 1 year. You will now realize that what is the whole thing I've learned if it's just report and dashboard I'll be doing. But at the end of the day, it is your understanding of Salesforce that got you that job. But you need to understand Salesforce in case next time they ask you to go and look into the leads object. So please don't get worried about the things I teach you. You just need to understand the concepts. So when the time comes for the job, it wouldn't look like a new concept to you. It's going to be like, oh, we've done this before. Let me go to Babatope Olajide's video and go and watch what is said about this stuff. Then you can go on Trailer to do a trail about this. You need to understand training. You need to understand practical. You need to understand reality. Reality is when you get on the job. Training is when you get the concepts. What I'm teaching you for 4 weeks is what I was taught for 4 days. 4 days. I learned Salesforce admin in 4 days. And my Bible is my trail head. So what you guys are getting is just beyond what you need. You just need the basics. It's the trail head, is the job that will expose you to things you need to know. You cannot become a master of Salesforce by attending a 4 weeks class. But if you get on the job, you grow your experience and you become comfortable. So please understand that no one teaches Salesforce like this. I'm probably the only one that still teach Salesforce like this. Okay, so let's continue. So now there is what they call quotes. What are quotes? What are quotes in Salesforce? Quotes are records that shows the proposed price of organization's product and service. For instance, when you have an opportunity and you at maybe a negotiation stage, Salesforce can automatically generate a quote for the customer. So when you say, I'm at negotiation stage, I can write a flow that would generate a quote. What are quotes? Quotes are, when you're about to sell a product, you send quote and you put a price and you put a deadline for them to pay. That's quotes. You're giving them a quotation. Okay? When a quote is created, okay, an opportunity product are added automatically to that quote. As you can see, I tried to go to quotes. I couldn't find quotes. That means I need to enable quotes. And remember, anytime you are looking for an object that you know that it exists in Salesforce, but you cannot find it, you need to go to setup and look for that quote and see if there's a setting in place. As you can see, it is currently disabled. I click on enabled. Now that I've enabled quotes, I will be able to use quotes, and I can specify the layout I want quotes to be. Okay, so now that I have enabled quotes, I'm going to refresh this so the quotes can sync in. Then I look for quotes again. Okay, now quotes is appearing. Okay, so what are quotes again? Quotes are just you trying to sell an item, but you cannot just create quotes like this. You have to create quotes from an opportunity. But I think you might be able to create a new button. Maybe you go to the page layout or something like that. But again, quotes will be created from the opportunity, okay? So how do you create quotes? You go to the related. Remember, anything that is related to opportunity, such as products, such as quotes, you can go and create them from the related tab, okay? And you can have multiple quotes associated to an opportunity. So now let's create a simple quote. Black Force Professional, and we just give a description. If you want a discount, you can give a tax, shipping, and all this kind of information. That's fine. But more importantly, you need to give the right customer information, okay? blackforcedemo@gmail.com, okay? So now you save. That's it. You've created a quote for this opportunity. How can you see the quotes? You click on the quotes. What else can you see in a quote? You've seen the products, you've seen the quote line item, which is just a reflection of the products, okay? And you can see the parts of the quote. As you can see, you can create a quote object, fine. But Salesforce is telling you, I can actually give you out of the box solution that follows a process. Needs review, in review, approve, rejected, present. Like Salesforce makes it easier for you to do business out of the box. You just need to know what object you want. You can make changes to this part. It is not rigid. You can make changes to this part. And guess what? You can generate a PDF. What's a PDF? Obviously, you know a PDF. I can send this out immediately and tell the client that this is your quote. Look at where we started from opportunity. We created a product. Now we created a quote. Out of the box, you already generated a PDF. You can email the client and you send it to the client, okay? But remember, as a Salesforce admin, you're not the one doing this. As a Salesforce admin, guess what you're going to do? You are going to receive a request from the business analyst that we would like to enable quotes in our system. That's all you need to know as a Salesforce admin. It is only a user of the Salesforce that will be using quotes. I want you guys to understand the difference between what I'm teaching you and what you need to know as a Salesforce admin. What you need to know as a Salesforce admin is that we have quotes, and in order to use quotes, you need to go to the back end to enable quotes. That's what an admin does. However, if you are a user of the Salesforce, you will need to know what this is about. So why would you be doing this for the business as an admin? No one is going to tell you to start using opportunities, but you need to know what is opportunity and how are the features of an opportunity. Understand the difference, and you will be happy that you know what you're doing here. But if you don't understand the difference, you want to become like me, what I learned in about 5 years, you want to learn it in 1 hour, it's almost impossible. Okay, so try to understand that these things requires time. In addition to that, there is what they call quote syncing. What is quote syncing? Quote syncing comes up when you have a product in an opportunity and you add a new product to the opportunity. Okay? The quote syncing just helps you to sync the product you've just added and making sure that it is not missed out. So you just click on Start Sync and it will sync the product with what you currently have in the opportunity and everything will be reflected. Okay, so it's very important to know what quote syncing is and how it is used. Okay, so now I want you to go to, you've seen how to send a quote, you've seen how to generate a PDF. There's also what they call opportunity splitting. But before we get there, I want to take a pause again because I want you guys to understand what I've just said and you guys understand the principles and the rationale behind this training, okay? So I'm going to take a pause here to find out if you guys have any questions before I continue on opportunity splitting, okay? So if you have questions, please raise your hand and I will address your question according to how you raise your hand up. Lottie, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Thank you, Babatope. My concern is about you emphasizing on opportunities. And for long, it seems like opportunities is the base. But there again, you went on to emphasize on sales and then came back to products. And from my understanding so far, it seems like without the product, we can't use the opportunity object.
No. You can use the opportunity object without the product. You don't need to have a product. You can, obviously, it's logical to have a product, but not like you cannot use it. I created an opportunity without adding a product. I created this opportunity without having a product. You see, like I'm going to create it right now. and I'm not going to have a product to eat. That's it.
So what exactly is this opportunity? Why is it called opportunity? Is that just the nomenclature? What do we really need to understand as the basis of an opportunity?
That's a good question. And opportunity is what you want to sell. Like, opportunity is a potential to sell a product. The prospect of selling a product to a customer. It tells you, shows you how to manage your sales process. I want to sell a laptop. I don't even have the laptop, but I can still sell the laptop. I can tell the client that I have a laptop to sell, but that is irrelevant. How am I going to manage that process? I will look for a client, prospecting. Once I get a bunch of clients, then I will get to the next stage, qualification of that client. Are these clients my type of client? Would this client buy the laptop? That's the qualification stage. Now you've analyzed, you've done the prospecting, you've gotten to the qualification. The next stage is need analysis. Need analysis is, how can I convince this client to buy my laptop? You tell them, you give them a reason to buy the laptop. Okay? This is what Salesforce sales process is all about. It has nothing to do with Salesforce. It has absolutely nothing to do with Salesforce. Salesforce is a cloud CRM that gives you all this out of the box based on best practices, industry standard. If you have ever worked in an industry that has to do with selling, you wouldn't ask this question because they already know how this stuff works. They know what opportunities are. They know what sales processes are. So it's not your job to figure out what the sales process is. Your job is to be able to configure this when you're asked to do so. And that's what I'm teaching you, how to configure the sales process for your business in case they need it tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, it just helps to understand the reasons why we are doing certain things. Because, if you come from a very technical background, you always almost want to see, understand what you're doing before, and the reason why you're doing it before you even venture into it. I know there are so many people here from different backgrounds. Many of them may have picked up what you said, but I just didn't. That's why I asked my question.
Oh, sure. That's valid. That's why I said it was a good question. Also, in addition to that, I'm an engineer. I don't know what opportunities are until I started Salesforce. So in order for you to know why, you need to watch this video, number one. Number two, you need to go to Trailhead and do more exercises on opportunities. That's how to show interest. Okay, that's how to show interest. You need to know, but again, if you're ever going to work as an admin, chances are you might not even do this. I'm telling you, it's just part of the curriculum. We need to teach it. Okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate your response.
No worries. Gava, please.
Thank you. Hello, Babatope. Thank you very much for those inspirational words. And also, it's becoming more clearer tonight. My question is, can you please show once again, how you arrive on quotes, how you're able to pull up that PDF? Because I want to assume that it will be possible to pull off such thing on dashboards or probably reports. Now that we are on quotes and we are pulling up a report for quotes. So how do you get to that PDF part? Thank you.
So you're an opportunity, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Go to related tab. This is related tab of opportunity. You scroll down. You go to the quotes for that opportunity, okay? We did not create quotes for this one. I go to another opportunity. I go to quotes for this opportunity. Okay. Then to the right-hand side, you see a drop-down arrow.
Okay.
Then you can create a PDF and you can email the quotes.
Okay.
You can create a PDF and you can email the quotes. Okay?
Okay. Then, meaning that if I am on sales or some other fields too. Can I use the same format to pull up those PDF if at all they are existing?
If you're on a different object,
Yes.
depending, you cannot have, like, if there is no PDF opportunity in Leads, for instance, you cannot create PDF. But I think you should be able to do other things provided they have the functionality. If there's no functionality, you can just use the one you have, or you can hire a developer to create that functionality.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Boris. Tony, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Yeah, so thank you again. As an admin, I know you can just you can enable quotes for the business. Is it because I could see that the user, when that quote has been enabled, I could see that the user was able to go into just that particular opportunity and enable that code. Is it going to be just like that? As in, for each opportunities, is it going to be like, oh, they will send an email to the admin, oh, can you enable quote on this? Or is it going to be just generally going to be on the opportunity if we are working in sales? Secondly.
Okay, carry on.
Secondly, can there be a quote cycle too?
A quote cycle?
Like a part.
Yeah, there is a part, right? Did you not see the parts?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a part, okay? And to answer your first question, once you enable quotes, then you start adding quotes to the opportunity. So the first thing is you enable quotes as an administrator. You're not enabling quotes as per opportunity basis. You're enabling quotes in the back end as an administrator, okay? Then once you enable this, you will now see quotes in the opportunity related tab.
Okay.
You will see it there once you enable it. But if you don't enable it, you will not see it there. Until you enable it, that's when you will see it, okay? In addition to that, there is quote templates. The quote template is just the template you are going to see or use when you have a quote PDF, meaning that this stuff looks nice, but if I don't want this format, just like your page layout, I can change it and replace things. So that's what quote templates does. You can change it just like your page layout, remove certain fields, add certain fields to it, okay? So remember, Salesforce gives you all these out-of-the-box functionalities. It's up to you to use them if you want to, okay? Ola, please. Ola, unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Before I ask my question, I would just like to ask, adding the product, because product, I think, is important to this opportunity stuff. So is that the work of an admin or the work of the users?
That's the work of the user. The user of Salesforce will be the one that is knowledgeable enough to add products to the opportunity, because there's going to be what they call a Salesforce admin and a Salesforce consultant and a Salesforce specialist and a Salesforce developer. Like, there's so many things you can do with Salesforce. You now need to ask yourself, what do I want to become? As a Salesforce admin, you need to know how to go to the back end and go to quotes and go to quote settings and enable quotes. That's the job of a Salesforce admin, nothing else. As a Salesforce consultant, you need to, the business will tell you, I want to be able to generate PDF for quotes. Then you now tell them that in order to generate PDF for quotes, you will go to your quotes. You're going to tell them, like, you're literally going to tell them, that's the work of a consultant. That's what I do at work. I'll tell them that, go to opportunities, go to quotes, click on quotes, click on create PDF at the right-hand corner. That's the work of a consultant. Implementation specialists are those that would implement this architecture. They are the ones that will implement all these tabs, object, and everything. A developer is someone that they will say, okay, maybe there was no create PDF. A developer is someone that they will ask, can we, okay, now that's not even a good example. For example, a developer will be the one that they will say, can we create PDF for leads? Or can we go to the leads objects and can we delete multiple leads? As you can see, I can only delete one lead at a time. But a developer is someone they will say, can we delete 4 leads at a time? Can you create a button here that will show delete when I select 4 buttons? That's a Salesforce developer. So you need to understand the scope of your responsibility. Salesforce is huge, but I'm teaching you beyond the administrative stuff. Do you get what I'm trying to teach you? Beyond what you need to know. I'm teaching you what will make you successful in your Salesforce career. I'm teaching you what other people would not teach you beyond administrative stuff. I told you at the beginning of the session, this is beyond administrative stuff. If I had to teach you the admin stuff, I will stop here. I'm going to stop here, enable codes. That's it. But I'm teaching you more than what you need to know because I want you to become an expert of Salesforce. So try to understand that you're getting more than you're expected to know. Is now up to you to take a step back and say, this is where my limit ends. But I want to learn more. I'm hungry for more because I want to make 200 a year. I want to make 250 a year. Last year, I was making over, I don't even want to say that, but at the end of the day, it is what you know now that will give you the money tomorrow. It's not you telling me that I should do 3 revisions on something that you don't even need. Think about it. Okay. So I'm going to stop there, Ola. I think, Ola, does that answer your question or you want more?
Yes, it does. Because the reason why I asked the question is because we talk about codes. And I can see that when we are choosing the product, we have a list of products that has been, default on the system. And I can see that we have a price book also. So I was just trying to see if I can create new product, but I couldn't get it. So that was why I asked the question.
Oh, okay. You can create a new product. Why not? You can add products or you can go to products. Once you go to products, you will create your own product. If the product is not there, then you'll be able to select that product. Remember, I've taught you how to do basic stuff. Create new, delete, edit. You know how to do all this stuff. Do you get what I mean? So if a product is not there, create the product. Once you create the product, give the product code, whatever it is. Okay, save. Then now you have this product. When you have an opportunity, go to that opportunity, then you add the product which you just created. What's the product? Refresh this page, maybe. I'm looking for, I need to refresh this page. Okay, you can just create the product, sorry. Where's the product I just created? What name did I give it? Let me look for the name again, okay? Products. Oh, create. It is create. Okay. And I think you can even add this to opportunity from here. Let me see. There's some process that can help you. There's no process there, but you can go back to the opportunity, and you can look up the products. Again, all these products are created by default in the system, but you can create your own, okay? Okay. Oh, where's the product? Let me create another product. Maybe I did not select something that makes it visible. Products. Okay, so this product, then give it a price, because if you don't have a price, you cannot have the product, okay? So now we have this. I have details of the products. I need to make it active as well. Okay, so look at, like I was going to teach you product and price book, but because we haven't gotten there yet, I cannot, demonstrate that. But then again, it's good that you're asking, so you can see that the product is not magical. It's something you can create. Okay, so let me look for that product again. It should be there now. Why is it not coming? Just
I want to try to add it to the price book.
yeah. Refresh. Let me go to the product again. I need to make sure that the product is properly created. Edit this product is active. Product family. Do I need to have a product family? Maybe not. Save me, that's fine. That's fine. Go to the product, go to the price book, use standard price. That has no impact on the products. Okay. Save. Just 1 minute. So we go to the opportunities. It should be reflecting the opportunities product, because there is no special consideration for products creation. Okay, it's just the same product we have, unless they have a different product. We don't have any custom product. Let me see. Products. Okay, we have product 2, opportunity line item. Okay, yeah. Okay, there is a different product for opportunity. Okay, which is look up to a product. So we have to do that. View all. Products. Opportunity. I'm looking for these specific the specific objects. Okay. Okay. Again, this is how you walk, right? You try to get the objects into view, and you can play around with the objects. Okay. I think that's the only opportunity. Products. Okay, hard. But that shouldn't be an issue. Products, okay. Let me see all the products. This is all the products. And why is the product not coming up? It's strange. But again, let me see. I'll just select that, okay? Save. Okay, I will select that. Let me just put this here. But it doesn't matter. All the stuffs are just information you put, okay? It's not really a deciding factor on the product. The most important thing is this product, okay? And you have this product. As you can see, you have all the product there. Let me go back to the opportunities again and see if I can add a product. That product I just created. Let me see, sort products. This is strange. Is there any filter in place? Filter by product family, none. Sort. So it's not coming up. Let's move on. I can price book is standard. I can look into this, but before that, let me just change the price book, because this is actually referencing a standard price book. Okay, so let me just quickly do that, then we move on from that. Okay, I click on this, I edit this. Okay, that's that. Save. I go to the price book and I make sure that I add it to standard price book. Okay. Okay. The products already exist in the price book, but what if I want to edit? Why can't I add it to the standard price book? Use standard. Why is it not active? Invalid currency code, USD. Currency ISO, invalid currency code. So I need to go to price book. Oh, who brought this question? Products, products, page layouts, currency. Where's the currency? Currency is on the page layout. Okay, let's go to other products. Opportunity products, go to the page layouts, see if the price is there. USD, where's the currency? Currency, subtotal. Okay, I can look into why this is not, I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is not relevant to what we're learning. Okay, but I think we need to make this active, and we need to be able to add this to the opportunities. Okay, so this is beyond administrative stuff. You don't want to be dwelling on how to do maybe CPQ stuff and everything within the admin stuff. Okay, but it's something I can help you look into maybe tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but on Monday. The first thing we can just do is add a different product that is not currently existing in the system to an opportunity. Okay, but it should be straightforward. It's strange that it's not coming up here, but it should be straightforward. Price book is standard. So let me quickly just, I'm very stubborn when it comes to this kind of stuff because it doesn't make sense for it not to work. It doesn't make any sense. Do you get what I mean? So let's just create this standard price book. What do I have? Do I have product entries there? Yeah, I have it. So it's very strange, but let me go to a different price book. Just create something else. Okay, then you have active. You want to make it a standard price book. Okay, let's have, why can't I select this? Maybe there's a restriction or something. If I add a new price, I can't select a standard price book. Why? Make sure that you have activated standard price book. If you go to the main product tab, you see the manage on the bottom right, click on it and activate standard price book. So you just need to activate the standard price book. Okay. So if you go to, it says if you go to the main products tab, you see the manage price book link at the bottom right of the screen, then you can activate it, okay? So you go to the main product tab, okay? Then standard price, you need to activate this. That's what I cannot do. This is a bit strange. I want to activate this, but it's telling me I cannot. And if you are struggling with anything, if you want to understand something, the best way to learn that stuff is to go to Trailhead and actually learn it, okay? So if you look at this price book, that's fine, new, active, but it's not creating this. So you have this, that's fine. Add products, okay? Choose price book, choose price book. Opportunities, go back to opportunities, choose price book. I want it none. Oh, God, have mercy on me. Whew. Can't update price or necessary expression. That's fine. Add products. Why can't I update my price book? So basically, I'm trying to change this to none. Okay. Select the price which are associated with the products. This is the Ola, I think you asked this question. This is where we're going. The problem is I cannot update while validating invocable. That's strange. But yeah, Ola, I think Ola asked the question. So the reason why the products we created is not adding to this is because this product is standard, okay? And our product was put under none. However, if we create the product and we can select, if we can select standard, which obviously is not what is not enabling us, helping us to select it. But if we can select this, then we should be able to add that product. So it's kind of like strange, but let's see. Okay, so this should work, hopefully. Okay, and let me see the standard products. These are the entries. So this is now in the standard products. Opportunities. Let me refresh this again for it to kick in. Yeah, I wasn't planning to do all this, but it's good learning for everyone. Let's look for, that's it, okay? That's the great product. We just needed to add it to the right products which we've created, and we need to select it. So again, like this is not, as you can see, it's not something I use at work. It's not something I would do on a daily basis. But then again, if this is your specialty in the Salesforce, then this is what you will spend time on. I had to just look at the trailhead for it, and I was able to do it within maybe 2 minutes. But because I haven't done this trail before, I couldn't do it. And that's how you learn. If this is your area of interest in Salesforce, you should do the trail. That's why the clinic session is almost unrelated in a way to what we learn in class. You're learning the practical session in class, but the clinic session would help you if you are going to become a Salesforce professional. If I had done this trail before, I wouldn't have any issue trying to fix that. It would take me 2 minutes, but because I haven't done it, I had to find out what product codes and contracts are in Salesforce, and that's the way you learn. So please, when I say you should do clinic, you should do them because it will help you master your knowledge of the Salesforce, okay? Yeah, that took a while, but I'm glad we fixed that. Let's go to the next question, then we continue the learning. Afia, please.
Hi, Babatope. I just have a quick question regarding the product. Is there a way that you can probably demonstrate, like if a business has like 10,000 products, for example, how would you add that?
You can upload the product. So there's what they call the data imports. And instead of you having to add it manually, which we're going to be doing next week, we are going to upload data into this product. There are 2 ways to upload data. You can use the interface, which is the data import, or you can use an external tool to upload data into the Salesforce. We're going to be teaching that next week, Monday, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay, let's quickly touch the last base of opportunity before we end the class for today. So now that you've seen a lot, in fact, you've seen me solving a problem, this is what you're going to face at work. They will ask you to do stuff and you don't know how to do it. But there is a way to do the stuff. How do you find out? You go to the trailhead. I've told you guys everything I'm going to teach you and everything you would want to know about Salesforce is in the trailhead. Every time I ask you to do the trailhead, there's a reason for it. The trailhead is almost like the Bible of Salesforce. If you need anything, this is where, if you need technical understanding of Salesforce, this is where you go. This is where you go if you need technical understanding of Salesforce, okay? If you want to know about a particular area in Salesforce, you can go to the help, the Salesforce help, and you can find out what Salesforce is talking about certain items, okay? And not just that, you can see a lot of information about it. The help.salesforce.com is technical documents, like where you go and see everything about record types. I want to know record types. How is it created? Everything you need to know is in the help. The practical section, which is the trailhead, it's about how to use it in the org. The trailhead will show you how you can use it in the hub, but the practical, if you're a developer, this is where you want to spend your time. You want to read the details of the technical documentation so you can learn more. The trailhead is, I want to fix it right now. I want to fix it right now. That's what the trailhead would teach you. The trailhead teaches the practical understanding of Salesforce. The help of Salesforce would help you understand the technical details. Okay? So now let's quickly go to what they call opportunity splits. What are opportunity splits? Opportunity splits are what enables you to collaborate with your colleagues. If you're working within a very busy, active selling environment and you want to collaborate with your colleague on a sale, on a deal, you enable what they call team selling. Team selling would help you to sell a deal faster. If you want you and your colleague or your workmate or whoever is selling a deal with you, you want them to have a portion, okay? You want them to have a portion of what you're selling. For instance, I have this lucrative deal, which is almost $1 million. If I'm at identifying decision makers, but I don't know who the decision makers are, but I know my colleague that works on something similar knows who the decision makers are. I can add my colleague as a part of my opportunity team selling, meaning that whatever commission I get from selling these products, my colleague would get a commission, a percentage of my commission. That's what they call opportunity splits. Revenue splits is when you are sharing the commission from this revenue. And there is what they call the overlay split, which I'm going to explain to you. Let's go to the opportunity team selling. Once you have it enabled, you can go back and you see a lot of things come up, which is set up opportunity splits. If you set up opportunity splits, you have two options, the overlay or the revenue. Okay, the revenue would always sum up to 100%, meaning that if the commission is $10, then if you're selecting a revenue split, it will always be 100% of $10, maybe 60-40, 30-70, 10-90, and the likes. However, if it is overlay, it doesn't necessarily have to be 100%. You can just say, I want to give my colleague 5% of the commission or something like that, or maybe a price value. I want to give my colleague $2 of the commission, okay? So that's the opportunity splitting in progress, in reality. But how do you actually do this? You go to the opportunity. Right now, we don't have opportunity teams, right? I refresh this. Because I enable opportunity splitting, opportunity teams will come and opportunity splits will come. Opportunity teams are the teams which you're bringing together to sell an opportunity. Opportunity splits would now be based on the opportunity team. So right now I have one opportunity team. I can add more opportunity team to my list, okay? So right now I have this for this opportunity, but remember it is based on opportunity. So that means I don't have to have the same team for all my opportunities. I can create another opportunity and add another member to that opportunity, okay? I can just say, this guy is the account manager and he's a test user, access is read only, just for him to see. Now I have two people in my opportunity teams, okay? Going by that, I go back to the opportunity and I have two people in my opportunity team. If I want to split, right now it is 100%, but I can now change it to maybe 50-50, okay? 50, then this will be 50, obviously. Then you save. This is how you share profit, or Obviously, you're sharing the amount, but ideally it should be commission from that amount, okay? So this is how you split the commission you get from an opportunity. Opportunity split enables you to split commissions, okay? You do that by, first of all, adding people to your team. You need to have people you're working together with. Then you need to split based on the people you've added. In addition to that, you can have a default opportunity team if you've created it. Default opportunity team comes when you go to opportunity teams and you can create a default opportunity teams. I think is in account team or something like that. You can just type in team and you can see where opportunity teams are. So you have account teams, you have opportunity teams, you have K teams, but these are just advanced stuff. It's about how your business is set up. Then again, you just need to know how and where these stuffs are, okay? So now you have an idea of what opportunity teams are. You know what settings you can give opportunity teams. Let me show you again. You know the settings you can give opportunity teams if you want to. Okay, I think you go to settings, and this one is just for what happens when you add, this is for when you're creating a new opportunity. You can force the system to give you a product. Like you have to add a product whenever you're creating an opportunity. You know, by default, we don't add a product, but these settings will make sure that whenever you're creating an opportunity, you can have a product. Okay, you don't need to know about all these settings. The bottom line is you need to know what the business wants you to know, and what is it? You need to be able to enable things as an admin. You need to be able to create a user, you need to be able to create a profile, you need to be able to create a role. One last thing before we end the class is what they refer to as a big deal. I think I missed that when I was teaching you the basics of the sales process. So in Salesforce, there's what they call a big deal alert. The big deal alert helps you, or helps the system, or helps the business to know when there is a potential big opportunity coming in. What do I mean by that? So let's say you have an opportunity with $1 million or $10 million, and the stage is in negotiation. Salesforce can send you an email to notify the managers about a potential big deal that needs to close soon. And that's what Salesforce refers to as big deal alert. Big deal alert is associated to opportunities. It helps you to determine the opportunity that is about to be closed and the value is high. So if you have trigger amount to be $1 million or maybe more, and you have a probability of 90%, you want to send a big opportunity alert, meaning that whenever an opportunity fits this criteria, I want my manager to be aware of this opportunity. And I want them to receive an email, okay? And I'm going to notify, let me just put this email there, but let me use my name as the sender. Oh, no, I cannot use my name because it's not verified. I can put this there, okay? Then you notify different people, and you notify the opportunity owner. It's up to you. But the bottom line is this: you need to make sure that you have the amount and the probability, okay? So it's telling me to select a user that have view all assets, and I think admin has view all assets, so I'm going to select admin, and I save. Okay? But then again, if you want to create the permission set, you can create a permission set with that privileges, okay? So now we've created what they call a big deal alert. Whenever the opportunity is $1 million or maybe more, then, and the trigger, it has to go with the probability. So it's not just about the money. It has to go with the probability. So if these two matches, then An alert will be created in the system when the stage is closing to the matching criteria. $1 million, 90%, it is going to send an email. But more importantly, you want to enable this alert, okay? If you don't make it active, it's not going to send. So you have to make it active and you save, okay? That's all about sales and marketing application. It seems overwhelming at first, but that's what it is. It's a sales application you need to know. According to Salesforce exam guide, it is part of the curriculum. Even though you might not be doing it as an admin, you still need to know it, okay? So I'm gonna take a pause here to find out if you guys have any questions, and I will just attend to those questions one after the other, okay? Please raise your hand up if you have any questions so we can continue. I'm just going to call you according to how your hands are raised up. If you're not asking any question, you can just drop your hand so I don't call you again. Please. Fella, unmute yourself and speak, please.
Okay, hi. My question is, if the organization-wide default for opportunity is set to private and you enable opportunity teams, does this automatically share details of the opportunity with the other team members, or you have to enable that somewhere else? I think I noticed something about team access on that page. I'm not sure, but I think I saw that. So yeah, that's my question.
So based on what you've given the team, they will be able to see, because it's like sharing rules, okay? You're sharing this opportunity specifically with them. So if it's private, which is a good thing, if you share it with the team, they would have access you've given them. Again, you have read only and read write. Okay? You have read only and read write. But if it's private, it will be open to those team members. Only this opportunity, not everything, just this one. Okay? Okay, Fela, do you have any other question?
No, that's it. Thank you.
No worries. Tony, please.
Thank you. I wanted to re-explain this opportunity split and commission split, because if as a team we are working on a particular opportunity, and I'm sharing with another team. I'm sharing that opportunity with another team. How do I create if there's a commission that will be paid on that? How do I, as a team, as a member of the other team, how do I get my own commission part? Do I create another part for the commission split that as an object, so that the percentage of that commission goes into the future?
Okay, I'm trying to understand that question, but a team is just one. There's only one team per opportunity, okay? There's only one team per opportunity, and a team comprises of users.
Yes.
Okay, so if I need to put another person in this opportunity team, I just need to add them as a user. Do you get what I mean? I need to add them as a user. Okay, so there's nothing like 2 teams or 3 teams. There's just a user or bunch of users in a team. Okay, so if you no longer want a user to be in a team, just take them off. And if you want to add them, just add them, and you give them a role to play.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to understand that two teams are working on a particular opportunity.
Don't call it 2 teams. Call it 2 users.
2 users, okay.
So it's not 2 teams. It's only 1 team you have per opportunity, but you can have multiple users in the team.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
Okay, I got that.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to relate it with the opportunity splits.
Opportunity split comes up when you have a team. So now that you have opportunity team, based on the team, you can split. So it is the people you've added you can split with. And you can split based on overlay, or you can split based on revenue. Revenue needs to match 100%. Overlay, you don't have to match 100%. So revenue, you have to specifically say, I'm giving this guy 50, I'm giving this guy 50. But overlay, you can just say, I'm giving you guy 5%, and that's it. Do you get what I mean?
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I got. Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ella, please unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, Babatope. Good evening. Sorry to bring this up. It's not really a question related to what you've taught right now, but it's still about the training. I don't know if I can go ahead and ask.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So I'm a basic user, and I was wondering if after today we'll have an updated link to be able to sign in for the class, since you've not finished maybe for the session. And also, if maybe, I don't know, it's just a request anyway, if we can have the videos for like a month, even if it means we'll pay something for the subscription or something. So at least we can prepare for our certification and all that, please. It's a plea, it's not compulsory, but it's just a plea, like, please.
You will definitely have access to the training until the end of the training. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you're a basic user or not. I've instructed the operations that everyone will get access until the end of the training. So if you're a basic user, as long as you're still teaching, you will have access, and you have access to your video. But after the training ends, you probably have 1 week left to watch the videos and prepare for your exam, because that's what I am giving for other people as well. So you still have the video within the training you attended. Okay, it's not going to be the training you don't attend, you have a video. No, the training you attended, you have a video. But I would not give anyone access to the quiz app. It's only the standard or professional will have access to quiz app. And I'm not even going to do any consideration like what I did the last time, because that got a lot of people confused. They were just everywhere talking about subscription. And I previously told everyone that you should be a subscriber in order to proceed further, unless you have challenges with finances, but not for you to be stubborn about subscribing, because this is effort by the team, not just me, but everyone. Okay, so definitely you will still be part of the training until I'm done, but what happens after will not be what you decide to do. Okay, so if you want to have access to quiz and other things, you still need to pay the standard subscription. But I wouldn't be teaching the Salesforce again, even though you are paying for it. Okay, so just to clear that and make sure that we're good on that side. And the video would always be there until your access expires, because right now I'm just going to disable all basic access user after maybe end of the month or something. But the video will be there until the end of the month. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. We can do with that. So thank you.
No worries. All the best. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Care. Yeah. Bye.
Tunde, please unmute yourself and speak. Tunde, unmute yourself and speak, please. Okay, if Tunde, we cannot hear you, Tunde. I don't know. Do you want to speak or something?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much for taking time to explain to us all over and over again. I really appreciate your time. Just a quick question regards the points. Now, is the 10,000 points applicable to just the professional members, or applicable to both? When I mean both the professional and basic members.
Yeah, it's applicable to only professional. However, as you can see, I'm a very dynamic person, and there could be a possibility of saying, okay, we have more slots for BA, and we need people to still subscribe to BA. If you get your admin certification, you should still be able to subscribe to BA, because all that is required for the BA is an admin cert, right? If you have a certification, maybe I can still consider you for BA. And based on that fact, you need to have met the conditions I've set for professionals. In addition to that, things can still happen. I can upgrade people from standard to professional. If I see their performance, if I see their zeal, they still need to show me that they are aspiring to become a professional. Okay, so in as much as I'm not making it compulsory for the standard, my expectations are you should be doing what it takes to get into the ecosystem. Money shouldn't hold you down from getting there. The professionals are just using a lot of resources. That's why they're paying it. Right now, I have to teach for the next 6 months. If I had to work, I'll be making 300K, but I'm teaching it and I'm making less than that. Okay. And I still have a lot of people working to help me facilitate this training. So you're paying for that time I'm giving out. So it has nothing to do with whether you're getting subpar training or no. If you're standard, you're still going to get the best from me regardless. It's just that your time ends after 3 months, while the professionals are still continuing. For the next 1 year, I'm still going to be with them, making sure that they get into the Salesforce ecosystem. So you need to understand the rationale behind it. It's not that you're paying cheap and you're getting subpar. No, you should still be targeting 25,000 points in 3 months. 10,000 points in the next 4 or 5 days. These are the expectations. That's how it works with me. If you dedicate yourself to what I do, you will get the best out of it. But if you decide to say, okay, I need 10 revisions before I can master this, God, you might not even get my time after the training because everything goes through the booking system. And if you are not going through the booking system, you might not get in touch with me. So please try to understand the process. It's very important. You don't have to watch me teach something. You need to now say, okay, Babatope has taught me this. I need to now buckle up and go on the trailer to master that stuff.
Yeah, that's copy.
You understand? So just please try to accumulate those points. Accumulate them regardless of whether you're on standard or professional. Accumulate them and see what can happen. For instance, I still need developers. Some people are still going to drop out of the developer program because they're struggling with HTML. If you're struggling with HTML, don't even think you can proceed. Don't even think that way. You need to switch right now. If you're struggling with what someone is teaching you, developer might not be for you because I learned HTML when I was a baby. And a 16-year-old person right now can write JavaScript, not HTML. So now we're teaching you from scratch. And if you're struggling, it's an indication that this might not be the right one for me. Let me do something that it is more intuitive, like click, 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 and stuff like that, okay? So please put that at the back of your mind and make sure that you are asking yourself questions on a daily basis. Is what I'm doing the things I would like to continue to do with maybe for a few years of my life? Before I retire, do you like the Salesforce platform? Do you like all this click stuff? Or you're more of a logical person that wants to write code? Or you're more of a person that likes to send email? Or you're more of a presentation person? You start asking yourself those questions. This is all it is to Salesforce. I was trying to add a product. It took about 10 minutes, but that's what Salesforce is all about. You try until you get it. But if you think you cannot try and they have to teach you everything, you will not get anything. You will not get anything. You have to go on the trailhead and try it yourself. This is the only training that gives you someone going through the trailhead for you. This is the only training I've ever seen in my entire life that gives you someone that is going through the trailhead for you. The trailhead is like literally the easiest thing you could ever do with Salesforce because it is written in plain English. So if someone is going through this stuff for you and you're still struggling, maybe it's an indication that this might not be the right front for you. Because in Salesforce, you have to learn. In Salesforce, you have to grow on a daily basis. Today, I still did some trails. I did some trails today because I want to learn 1 or 2 things about Salesforce. It's something that gives you money. And you have to do it. It's like you reading for your other certification exams. You have to do it on maybe not daily basis, but come back to it and do it. So please, don't see this training as a privilege and try to get all the best you can get within this short period. Because after this training, you don't know what you will face in the working place. And you have to be doing that yourself. Okay? So now I told you guys I've loaded the second aspect of the quiz, I want you guys to do it before tomorrow, before 12 p.m. tomorrow, please. I know that it is this yesterday night, but most of you probably did not see it. But please try to do it as soon as possible. It's on the online assessment, and it has to do with the object manager session. Okay. Let me try to see if I can log in with my login. So just do the quiz, and I want to see your performance on the quiz. That performance will help me to start thinking, okay, this guy doesn't have access because he's an owner. So if you are a student, you should be able to see the access to the quiz. Okay, try to do it, and let me see what your performance is in the quiz. Okay, it's very important that you get 100%. Once I open the answers, all the quiz, you should be getting 100%, because that's the same thing you will see in your certification exam. If you get 100% in the quiz, you're almost guaranteed you'll pass your certification. If you don't get 100%, keep doing it until you get 100%. Keep doing it every day, master all the questions, and when you go to the exam, you'll be amazed that you've done the quiz. But if you're thinking you're going to wait until that 1 week certification prep before you start preparing for your exam, oh God, it's going to be too late. You need to master those questions now. If you are on a standard package or professional, you will have access. If you're on the basic, you will not have access. It's very simple. Okay? So I think that's all from me. Please meet the deadline of February 21st for your trailer. You need to meet it. It's very important. This is the first elimination process. If you don't meet 10,000 by February 21st, you don't even think you're going to get work experience from me. Because how would you get work experience? I'm not going to be babysitting you to do trade leg. No way. You guys are adults. So please follow the process so we can get the benefits. One of your colleagues told me they had another 6-figure job today. And one of your colleagues told me this evening that they had another 6-figure job. So it's just too much. There's so many jobs in Salesforce. I would rather do Salesforce than do anything else in terms of career right now. Even if I study engineering or whatever, I would still do Salesforce because it pays more easily. You just need to be very dedicated to the Salesforce, and you will see how you're going to grow within 3 months, guaranteed. Okay, so guys, I think that's all. I will see you next week. We don't have classes tomorrow. However, there is tutorial on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can choose your time. There's tutorial for standard, for professional. Just choose your time and make sure you revise everything we've learned. Okay, that's all from me. Take care. All the best. See you next week. Bye, everyone.